Many people envision Batman as a dark, brooding figure keeping a solitary watch over Gotham while zipping from building to building on seemingly endless zip lines. But that's not true, at least the solitary part isn't. Since his debut in Detective Comics in 1939, Batman has a litany of supporting characters, heroes, anti-heroes, and civilians. In more recent years, this supporting cast has become known as the Bat Family, Batman's team who operate with his approval, oversight, and resources. There's been a lot of members over the years, so let's move through them. I'm Will for What Culture, and here's what happened to everyone who joins the Bat Family. 18. Dick Grayson, Robin / Nightwing / Batman / Agent 37. Dick grew up as part of a circus family, but his parents died in an arranged accident when he was young. Bruce took Dick into his home and trained him as a sidekick and crime fighter. As Dick grew in age and experience, he moved from his role as Robin to that of Nightwing. Recently, Dick's true identity was revealed to the world, and he temporarily retired and began working as a secret agent for the organization Spiral. He has since recreated his secret identity and is now Nightwing once again. 17. Selina Kyle, Catwoman. Selina always maintained an intriguing relationship with Bruce and Batman, often as a rival in years past, but more recently as a partner in both love and crime fighting. Bruce's love for Selina has been one constant of his career, and Selina is one of the only people Bruce has willingly disclosed his secret identity to. Bruce and Selina recently agreed to be married. The day of the wedding, however, Bruce receives letters from Selina telling him she knows marriage would take away from what makes him Batman, which she can't be responsible for. After ending their engagement, Selina left Gotham and began crime fighting in California. Still, she is always part of the Bat family. 16. Alfred Pennyworth. Alfred was the long-serving butler to the Wayne family who became Bruce's guardian, father figure, and confidant. He also served the same role to many of the younger members of the Bat family. Alfred was generally considered to be one of the few people who could freely speak his mind to Bruce without fear of receiving a dose of sarcasm or anger, and his level-headedness served as a balance to Bruce's dark side. Sadly, Alfred was frequently a victim of his life with Bruce, being kidnapped or attacked by supervillains dozens of times. Most recently, during the City of Bane storyline, Alfred was killed when Bane snapped his neck. For now, the world's best butler is at peace. 15. Ace the Bat-Hound. Ace stems from the Golden Age. Batman and Robin encountered Ace during a mission and ended up not only keeping him, but giving him a mask and cowl to cover the distinctive star-shaped birthmark on his forehead. For a dog, Ace proved to be a remarkably skilled crime fighter. He changed breeds several times over the years, starting as a German Shepherd, but also being portrayed as a bulldog and a bloodhound. Recently, Ace was retconned to have been an abused dog owned by the Joker, whom Alfred rescues, nursing him back to health and naming him. 14. Kathy and Betty Kane. Kathy Kane's Batwoman was introduced in July 1956 as a female counterpart to Batman. In 1961, Kate's niece Betty discovered her aunt's double life and joined her as Batgirl. In 1979, Kate was killed by the League of Assassins as a way of striking at Batman, and Betty died in Crisis on Infinite Earths. Post-Crisis, Kate was reintroduced as a master spy who once again involved herself in Batman's adventures, and in a complicated series of events, Betty came back as the hero Flamebird. 13. Barbara Gordon, Batgirl / Oracle. Barbara Gordon first appeared in 1967, closely tied to Batgirl premiering in Season 3 of The Batman Show. The daughter of Jim Gordon, Barbara was a tough, independent woman who was an equal to the dynamic duo, not a love interest. Barbara fought crime simply to help Gotham and her father, and also had a career as the head of the Gotham Public Library. 1988's The Killing Joke, where the Joker shoots and paralyzes Babs, was a shocking change for the character. After her injury, Barbara retired as Batgirl and became Oracle, DC's foremost information broker. Babs became a world-class hacker, providing mission support for dozens of DC heroes. After the Flashpoint event timeline change, Barbara managed to walk once more and assumed the mantle of Batgirl. 12. Lucius Fox. Lucius Fox appeared in January 1979 as a short-term troubleshooter for Wayne Industries. Bruce offered him complete freedom to do whatever he felt was needed for the company. After writing the ship, Lucius decided to stay on and run day-to-day operations. Lucius is also a prodigious inventor, creating many of Batman's vehicles, gadgets, and weapons. Recently, with the death of Alfred Pennyworth, Lucius has taken on Alfred's role as mission support for Bruce. 11. Jason Todd, Robin / Red Hood. After Dick Grayson grew up and flew the nest, Bruce was on the hunt for a new sidekick, finding him one night in 1983 when he caught Jason attempting to steal the Batmobile's hubcaps. Recognizing his talent and knowing that his upbringing would take him into crime if he wasn't mentored, Bruce took Jason on as the second Robin. In 1988, DC's editors put Jason's fate to a phone poll. A slim majority of voters wanted Jason dead, so dead he became. For years, it appeared that Jason's death was permanent. However, he survived and returned to Gotham to confront Batman, now as Red Hood. After battles with the other Robins and an attempt to take Batman's place when he was killed after Infinite Crisis, Jason slowly came to be an uneasy ally. 10. Tim Drake, Robin/Red Robin. Tim Drake was highly intelligent. When he was 9, he recognized a fighting move he saw Dick Grayson perform as identical to an acrobatic maneuver he did with the circus. Tim then linked Robin to Bruce Wayne as Batman. Tim also recognized that recently Batman had become increasingly violent. After meeting Alfred and Dick, they told of Jason's death, and Tim offered to be Robin, reminding Bruce that he needed a sidekick to balance him. Bruce agreed, on the condition that Tim became highly competent at combat, and after training around the world, Tim joined Bruce as the third Robin. Tim grew into an excellent tactician and detective, and by the time that Batman died during Infinite Crisis, Tim struck out on his own as Red Robin, searching the world for Bruce, who Tim was convinced was alive. Tim is currently exploring alternate timelines with members of Young Justice, briefly going by the title of Drake before switching back to Robin shortly after. 9. Helena Bertinelli, Huntress. Introduced in 1989, Helena was the daughter of a mob boss who was kidnapped by a rival crime family at a young age. When she was 19, her family was killed by another mob family, pushing Helena into vigilantism dedicated to wiping out organized crime. With the money left to her and her training in martial arts and acrobatics, Helena made her way to Gotham. Unlike the Bat family, Helena had no problem killing criminals, a tactic that brought her into conflict with Batman. Although he did not condone her methods, he tolerated her operating in Gotham, and she occasionally teamed up with Robin and Nightwing. Helena eventually became more accepted by the family, and in turn started to use less lethal methods while in costume. 8. Stephanie Brown, spoiler/Robin/Batgirl. Stephanie Brown, introduced in 1992, is the daughter of Batman villain Cluemaster. She spent most of her life with a father in prison, and when he was released, he immediately returned to crime. Losing patience, she created the Spoiler identity, with the goal of spoiling her father's crimes. This led to crossing paths with Robin, who agreed to work with her. Although both Batman and Robin attempted to dissuade Steph from being Spoiler, she refused, spending more time with Tim and eventually becoming his girlfriend. Eventually, Batman started formally training her, to a point that Stephanie was able to take Tim's place as the fourth Robin and first canonical female Robin. During a citywide gang war, Steph was tortured to death by Black Mask. Her death was faked, however, and Steph disappeared for a few years before returning to Gotham. When Batman died, Steph became the new Batgirl, helping to protect the city. She is now part of a task force comprised of young Gotham vigilantes overseen by Batwoman. 7. Jean-Paul Valley, AZRAEL/Batman. A minor character when introduced in 1992, Jean-Paul, known as AZRAEL in his assassin role, would become part of one of Batman's most famous arcs, Nightfall. When Bane broke Batman's back, Bruce chose Jean-Paul to take over in his absence, aided by Tim Drake. However, Jean-Paul soon let AZRAEL's programming take over. He became a violent killer, merging aspects of his AZRAEL costume and methods with Batman's. After recovering, Bruce defeated Jean-Paul and recaptured the cowl. After being defeated, Jean-Paul pledged himself to Gotham before being killed, avenging his father's death. Jean-Paul has since reappeared in new timelines, never having been Batman, but working closely with the family. 6. Cassandra Cain, Batgirl/Black Bat/Orphan. Cassandra Cain was introduced in 1999 as the daughter of legendary DC assassins David Cain and Lady Shiva, part of a project by the League of Assassins to breed the perfect killer. She caught Barbara Gordon's attention when she deliberately put herself in harm's way to save Commissioner Gordon, and with Batman's approval, Barbara began training Cass as Batgirl. After Batman's death, Cassandra became disillusioned and gave the Batgirl name to Stephanie Brown. During the 1 year later revamp, Cassandra became the head of the League of Assassins, a twist that garnered considerable fan backlash. It was eventually retconned that she only did so under the influence of Deathstroke. Cass then took the identity of Black Bat, operating first in Hong Kong, then Gotham. When the New 52 era began, she became Orphan, and is still in that role as part of Batwoman's team of young vigilantes. 5. Kate Kane, Batwoman. The second Batwoman, KANE, was introduced in 2006, her backstory being that she was dismissed from the US military because of its homophobic don't ask, don't tell policy. After a few years as a Gotham party girl, a chance encounter with Batman led her to realize that she had been wasting her life. Using military connections, Kate created armor and weapons that let her replicate what Batman was doing, and headed on a 2-year round-the-world journey of training. After a few run-ins with the family, Bruce, recognizing that Kate was already a well-trained, well-equipped warrior, asked her to join the team. She was made Batman's second-in-command, and was given a team of younger family members to train and command. Kate is currently involved in a relationship with fan-favorite character, Detective Renee Montoya. 4. Damian Wayne, Robin/Redbird. Damian was the product of a forced liaison between Talia al Ghul and Bruce, spending his formative years receiving training from the League of Assassins before Talia decided that letting Bruce know the truth would saddle him with a son, changing his personality and making Batman less of an obstacle. Surprisingly, Bruce readily accepted Damian and started deprogramming his League training. Damian proved arrogant and troublesome, and has fought at least once with every previous Robin to prove he is superior. After Batman's death, Damian became the 5th Robin, with Dick Grayson filling the role as Batman. In the years since, Damian has learned to become a team player with the Bat family and other heroes, even coming back from the dead himself following the conclusion of Batman Incorporated. After Alfred's death, Damian grows darker, feeling that Bruce's methods aren't enough to truly rid Gotham of evil. Damian resigns his status as Robin and leaves. 3. Luke Fox, Batwing. Luke Fox, son of Wayne Enterprises CEO Lucius Fox, was introduced in 2013. A brilliant engineer who refused a job at Wayne Enterprises, Luke is also a world-class MMA fighter, and putting these talents together captured Batman's attention. After Bruce's return from death, he created Batman Inc., a worldwide network of Batmen. Luke was offered the role of Batwing. Batwing's suit completely conceals his identity, and as a result, Lucius doesn't know his son is involved with Batman. 2. Batcow and Titus. Batcow is, well, a cow. Titus is a Great Dane Bruce gave Damian as a pet, and who is named after the Shakespeare character. They represent the side of Damian Wayne that is just a 10-year-old boy who loves animals. Batcow was one of the test subjects for a mind control hormone created by the bioterrorist organization Leviathan, intending to create mass mind control over the populace. During the mission to stop Leviathan, Damian noticed that one of the cows had a bat-shaped marking across her eyes. Taking this as a sign, Damian took her, named her Batcow, and moved her into a barn at Wayne Manor. Titus was purchased by Bruce to be a companion for Damian, and after some initial hostility, they accepted one another. And number 1, Duke Thomas, The Signal. Duke was the victim of the Joker's rampage through Gotham during the Endgame storyline. He was living on the streets before becoming involved with the We Are Robin movement, where young people from across Gotham followed Robin's ideals to protect the city. After proving himself as a Robin, Duke is encountered by Batman, who offers him a spot in the family. Duke agrees and is given his own costume and the code name of The Signal. Duke is a meta-human, learning to utilize his powers, making him the first of the family to have superhuman abilities. Duke has photokinetic vision, allowing him to absorb and manipulate light. Between these abilities and the extensive training from Batman and the previous Robins, he's become a formidable member of the team. He is currently assigned to the Outsiders. And there you have it, folks. What happened to everyone who joined the Batman family? Feel free to drop this video a like if you enjoyed it, and drop me a follow on Twitter at YouSlyDogU. I'm Will for What Culture, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.